Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Once more. Everyone.
Hallelujah, everybody. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yeah.
That's number 26, if anybody wants to look it up on the website. The Flavors of Praise, 26.
It's brand new. I just learned it. Just now.
So,
It's good for us to be back home.
yeah, we're
First
back
time in 3
home.
weeks. We're back home.
And
And
after Yom Kippur, I always feel like a newborn. Like it's like feeling like so fresh. So I was really looking forward to being here today with you and feeling like this newborn, like the whole everything of the past just kind of like cleared away and just opening to possibilities. And we're also in the last lines of the Song of Songs, which are it's just a very powerful kind of turning point. And so before we begin the cycle again onto the path of love, but we kind of pause at the end to sort of say, oh, what is this medicine? Where is it bringing me? And I was really inspired by something that Rabbi Arthur Wasco said in his book Dancing in God's Earthquake. He says, it's like this, there's always this question, can we go back to the garden? Can we go back to the garden? And some say, no, you can't go back, There's these flaming swords keeping us out. We were thrown out of the garden. And so he says, let us hark back to that story of the garden where we began, where the journey of all of us began, and hear it anew. The story of Eden is a tale of children growing into rebellious adolescence, and then into an adulthood of drudgery and hierarchy. The Bible asks us, God asks us, reality asks us, can we grow up some more? Can there be a garden for grown-ups? Can we learn from the mistakes that we've made? So he says that the Song of Songs welcomes us into that grown-up garden and beckons us to become a fully grown-up human race. And I really, feel that invitation from the song. And in a way, it's the song as a tikkun, a healing on that, everything that came before, the leaving the garden, the going into the subduing the earth, and disconnecting ourselves from the whole, and going back to the garden means connecting back up to, with all of creation, and hearing the voice of Shechina, who is always whispering. That it's that immanence of God that is whispering to us from within creation, if only we will hear it. And so these last lines of the Song of Songs says, a woman in the garden, Yoshevet haGan, Yoshevet haGan, the woman who is in the garden. We're addressing that woman in the garden who is Shechina. And we say to her, all our friends, all of these KZOOMers, we are all listening for your voice. Let me hear it. Let me hear it now. And so this idea of the Chaverim Makshivim, the attentive or listening friends, there's a way that we come together, and in our coming together, we find Eden. It's like from that place of love. And this is where I felt like Yom Kippur was for me, is going to that place of pure love. And from there, the veils are lifted, and we are in the garden. So a woman in the garden. And as I was composing this chant, I have a little conversation with my muses, and it said, a woman in the garden. And I said, what garden? And the muses said to me, this garden of love. And suddenly I looked around and I could see what I hadn't seen in a moment before. This garden of love that we are in when the veils are sort of lifted from our eyes, that we are in this garden of love, and we come into this place of sacred listening together, listening for the whisper of Shechina. So
and we got to go there together. I don't want to go to the garden all by myself. I want to go with you and all of you and a big, wonderful community.
And we help us there. We help each other there, right?
Yeah.
So Chaverim, Chaverot.
That's it. Chaverim Makshivim.
So how do we create this spiritual friendship that will allow us to hear and allow us to see this garden of love? It seems to me like there's certain things that get cleared away in order to hear.
Chaverim Makshivim lekolei Hashmi'ini Chaverim Makshivim lekolei Hashmi'ini Oh, woman in the garden, this garden of love, let me hear your voice. Oh, woman in the garden, this garden of love, let me hear your voice. Chaverim Makshivim lekolei Hashmi'ini Chaverim Makshivim lekolei Hashmi'ini Oh, woman in the garden, this garden of love, let me hear your voice. Oh, woman in the garden, this garden of love, let me hear your voice. Chaverim Makshivim lekolei Hashmi'ini Chaverim Makshivim lekolei Hashmi'ini Oh, woman in the garden, this garden of love, let me hear your voice. Oh, woman in the garden, this garden of love, let me hear your voice. Chaverim Makshivim lekolei Hashmi'ini Chaverim Makshivim lekolei Hashmi'ini Oh, woman in the garden, this garden of love, let me hear your voice. Oh, woman in the garden, this garden of love, let me hear your voice. Chaverim Makshivim lekolei Hashmi'ini Chaverim Makshivim lekolei Hashmi'ini Oh, woman in the garden, this garden of love, let me me hear your voice. Oh, woman in the garden, this garden of love, let me hear your voice. Chaverim Makshivim lekolei, Hashmi'ini, Hashmi'ini. Chaverim Makshivim lekolei, Hashmi'ini, Hashmi'ini. Oh, woman in the garden, this garden of love, let me hear your voice. Oh, woman in the garden, this garden of love, let me hear your voice. Chaverim Makshivim lekolei, Hashmi'ini, Hashmi'ini. Chaverim Makshivim lekolei, Hashmi'ini, Hashmi'ini. Oh, woman in the garden, this garden of love, let me hear your voice. Oh, woman in the garden, this garden of love, let me hear your voice. This practice of deep listening is kind of the core practice of Judaism. That is the practice of listening, of paying attention, of opening to the blessing of this moment. So that, the Chaverim Makshivim, have been kind of guides for me. I think there's a number of years ago, I got the message in my meditation that there was a kind of guidance coming to me from a new kind of series of guides, and I went out into the woods, and I felt like I was being spoken to, and I felt, and I said, "Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?" And it was almost like there was a finger that came down from the heavens, pointing to this text that said, "Chaverim Makshivim." And so it's like, "Oh, you are the Chaverim Makshivim," and I just had the intuition to call up my good friend Rabbi Elliot Ginsberg, and I said to him, "Hey, Elliot, do you know anything about the Chaverim Makshivim?" And he said, "Oh yeah, they were the students of Moshe Cordovero back in the 16th century. They had this secret society. They called themselves the Chaverim Makshivim." And I was like,
Tzfat?
"Yeah."
In Tzfat, yeah.
And I said, well, they've been in touch. They're still hanging out. So I try to pay attention to their guidance and sort of sending me on this path of love. And that path of love leads me back to the garden, but back to the garden as a grown-up,
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
the responsibility and the attentiveness to all of life, and
And so this idea of the garden, everybody, it's like our lives are the garden, really. And there's this line, one of my favorite lines from that's the most quoted line in the Zohar, that says, "V'nahar yotzei me'eden lashkot et haGan." And my good friend Malila Helner, who's a scholar of the Zohar, asked me if I might write a chant for this, because it was
the title.
It was the title of a book that
book.
she wrote,
about the Zohar.
And so the idea was that in the Zohar, the way that it's used is as a reminder that the Chaverim who are helping each other on this path need to always remind each other that there is a flow that is flowing from Eden, but we forget. We forget to open to it. And it's not something that happened in the past. It's happening right this very moment. There is a river that is coming forth from Eden, from source, from pure place of pure delight, to water this garden, which is our lives, to make it juicy, to allow the flow to move through us, to allow us to release what needs to be released, to open to that flow, to receive the energy that is the source energy, to connect ourselves up.
One of my favorite names for V'nahar yotzei me'eden is the stream of well-being. Just imagine that stream of well-being just flowing
through us. Yeah. So it's a practice that's a good way of connecting up with that stream. And sometimes I used to hear Rachmil singing it in the shower.
When I first learned this for years, I used to sing it in the shower because it's the perfect place. You're in the stream. And I forgot, so I need to read.
Start that again.
Yeah, start up my practice.
Well, there is this flow, and this is what we remind each other. There is a flow, and we can open to it. So just, as we step into this new life, this, as newborns after Yom Kippur, notice if there's any places in you that feel dry and need some watering, some loving attention, and we can direct the energy of the chant towards those places. And there's two parts to the chant, but what I like to do is, with our voices, really feel the liquid kind of nature of the voice, that it's like flowing through us, and see if you can make your voice sound like that, like the liquid flow. I don't think it really works if you're just sitting there listening. You have to like jump in.
That's right. Or take a shower. Go take a shower.
Go take a shower. Okay. Ready? There it comes. Here's the flow here.
V'nahar yotzei me'eden lashkot et haGan. 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 V'nahar yotzei me'eden ונהר יוצא מעדן להשקות את הגן. 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 ונהר יוצא
the breath as that flow, flowing in and through you, bringing vitality, delight, nourishment, healing, love. Just with each breath, and you can direct imagine the breath going to exactly the places in you that need that suppleness. So the wonderful thing about the breath is it's just so available.
I just love it. I
Just
love my
love
breath.
it. Love it.
Me. Yeah.
But it takes some attention, really. You know, it just keeps happening, but it takes the attention to it, and then using it and imagining it and directing that breath through us. That is the flow, and we need to remind each other that it's available. So I was feeling that maybe the reason I really wanted to do this idea, I wanted to talk about the garden. I wanted to go to the garden, is that I have this garden on my porch, very humble, 7,000 foot high garden on my porch, where there's lots of wind and everything. But I love my garden. I love my garden. And it's dying. It's dying.
It's that time of year.
It's that time of year.
I know.
So like a part of me was like a little sad. Oh, my garden. It used to be so... And now,
Colorful.
yes. So my garden is dying, so I need to find the inner garden to go to get that same juice, that same color, that same
Garden of your heart.
vibrancy. That must be Steve. Yeah, I need to go there.
That's it.
And then so and so this line, I want to one of my favorite lines from the Song of Songs, and maybe I say them out every line, but at the beginning of chapter 5, there's a line from the Song of Songs that says, I have come into my garden. So it's the divine presence that is saying, like, and I'm entering this garden. Which garden? Oh, the garden of love, yes. My sister, my bride, like I have come into my garden. And so there's this response inside me that says, like, welcome, open, like embrace that divine presence that is in my garden, no matter what, whatever is wilting outside. But I want to like embrace the divine presence that is flowing, that is entering, that is available, and then welcome it. So this feels like a real kind of celebration, a kind of a sense of consummation on the path of love. That there is the spirit that is entering in, which is like a little bit of, it's like a mystery, this aspect of mystery that is entering into my life. So let's see if, as we chant this, we can feel like we are welcoming the new year, as as the divine presence, in all its different manifestations. It's like we are embracing it, we are taking it in.
Baati, likani achoti, challah. Baati, I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. Baati, legani achoti challah. Baati, legani achoti challah. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. Baati, ligani achoti challah. Baati, ligani achoti challah. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. Baati, ligani achoti challah. Baati, ligani achoti challah. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. Baati, ligani achoti challah. Baati, ligani achoti challah. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. Baati, ligani achoti challah. Baati, ligani achoti challah. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. Baati, ligani achoti challah. Baati, ligani achoti challah. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. Baati, ligani achoti challah. Baati, ligani achoti challah. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. Baati, ligani achoti challah. Baati, ligani ligani achoti challah. Baati, ligani achoti challah. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride.
So let's sing it again really softly. Feel it as an internal chant, really inside.
Baati, ligani achoti challah.
Feel the garden within.
Baati, ligani achoti challah. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. Baati, ligani achoti challah. Baati, ligani achoti challah. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride.
Sing it as a celebration.
Baati, ligani achoti challah. Baati, ligani achoti challah. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. Baati, ligani achoti challah. Baati, ligani achoti challah. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I have come into my garden, my sister, my bride.
So first, walking in that inner garden, feeling all of the blossoming inside from this time of the high holy days. That we want to water that inner space, take care of that soul garden, and then, if you'd like to open your eyes and see each other here as flowers in the garden.
Oh, your face is the middle of the blossom. The petals are going
They're
out.
all blossoming. So just blossoming forth.
Hey. Hey, everybody.
So, if some people have known me a long time know that I've had different names over the years until I found my real name. But one of the names is my parents. They gave me a name they thought was my Jewish name. My Jewish name when I was born, and it was actually after my grandmother
Bertha, and they named me Bluma, which is it's a Yiddish name, you know. And when I grew old enough to ask them, I said, well, what's my Hebrew name? You know, they said, it's a Jewish name. We gave you a Jewish name.
Not exactly Hebrew.
It's not exactly Hebrew. It's Jewish, but it's Jewish. So it's Bluma. And so I had to go to Hebrew school.
Oh, dear.
And tell people that my name was Bluma, which they just thought was bloomers, you know. So I got, you know, so I got to like,
as you can imagine,
just hate that name, but you know, so it's taken me a really long time to kind of reclaim the flower that I am, you know, because, and I think I didn't like the idea that I was a flower, because I thought it was, oh, look at there, we got a flower,
Oh.
a flower here, Shechina's got a flower. And it was, I felt like it was too girly. I never wanted to be girly. I wanted to be powerful. And I thought that I didn't want to be a flower. And it wasn't till I got a little more maturity that I became like a totally lover of flowers.
and a flower child.
A flower child. But also just a sense of like the, you know, I don't know, the ostentatious nature of God, you know, this like incredible, you know, creativity and color. It just, you know, just became such a core to my existence. It's like looking at flowers. And then when I met Rachmael, I was trying to like turn him on to flowers, because I wanted to grow flowers in my garden, and he didn't.
You know, if you can't eat it, what's it good for?
Yeah. And
You know
so
what I mean?
he didn't get it. So finally,
But
I brought him to.
we went to the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum is in Santa Fe.
And as soon as,
Oh my God!
so suddenly he went to the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum, and he said to me, "Now I get it.
Oh, okay. I love flowers.
I get
now.
flowers.
Ooh,
I
get turned on
understand
by
flowers, the power of it, you know, but a different kind of power, of flower power.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, so as we cultivate this inner garden, it doesn't always come exactly easy. That's the inner work we need to do, and we're kind of asking for this flow to come into the places of wasteland, desert, desiccation, kind of like, you know, old stuff inside us to be transformed. And so the name of the game is transformation. And that's what our spiritual work is, the inner transformation. And so I wanted to end with this chant that I call the miracle chant, and which is the miracle that it happens, you know, that this the miracle of transformation happens, that the wilderness inside becomes delight, and the wasteland inside me becomes a divine garden. And sometimes that takes a lot of work, and it takes sort of an opening to grace, opening to that flow of God into us. But, you know, with this chant, I feel like even if I'm in a place that feels like a wasteland, I want to raise up this possibility of transformation. And that's what this chant does for me. So in our KZOOM training during the week of devastation, I would teach this chant as a way of lifting us up into possibility so that we could dive into the darkest places inside us. And we're at a time of the year where we are diving into the darkness. But before we do that, we want to lift ourselves up into possibility, like knowing that possibility is there. So,
Vayasem midbarah ke'edem. Vayasem midbarah ke'edem. Vayasem midbarah ke'eden ve'arvata haGan Adonai. Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden ve'arvata haGan Adonai. Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden ve'arvata haGan Adonai. Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden ve'arvata haGan Adonai. Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden ve'arvata haGan Adonai. Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden ve'arvata haGan Adonai. Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden ve'arvata haGan Adonai. Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden ve'arvata haGan Adonai. Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden ve'arvata haGan Adonai. Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden ve'arvata haGan Adonai. Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden Vayasem midbarah ke'eden ve'arvata haGan Adonai.
So close your eyes and let this chant, this prophecy, lift you up into possibility. And from here we can dive deep into the work that we're being given to do. And if you'd like to do that work on retreat with me, there's a couple retreats coming up. One in the Soul Lift retreat in Tampa. And I just got, I think it's going to happen that I'll be teaching at Kripalu. Do you know where Kripalu is in
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts? Oh, Tessa, you live near there, right? Yeah. And
March 5th through the 10th.
maybe March 5th through 10th. And it looks like that maybe I'll be doing an interfaith retreat with Reverend Matthew Wright in Minnesota this summer in August. So a lot of wonderful things, possibilities for work. And I really, believe in that. I mean, I love being with you for KZOOM, but it's sort of like I have this yearning of like, oh, I want to be on retreat with you.
Everybody
I want
in
to be
person.
on retreat with you. So I invite you just to check my website, give a little donation in honor of what you have received, and maybe learn a new hallelujah in the
26
flavors of praise. And I'm going to stop the recording.